to save money. And then during the interim, when they're cutting all this money out, a good part of it will go to the military-industrial complex so that we can have more wars, which will get people's minds thinking in a different direction, as well as great profits for these companies. And also, they will continue to cut back in the availability of medicines. I mean, we've seen a lot of reports just in the last few months where hospitals can't get this, that, and the other thing. And sometimes it's because they don't have the money to pay for the things. Outside the country, Greece is a good example. They owe millions and they can't get any more drugs and things that they need to save people's lives. And so this is where they're headed. They're going to use the money someplace else. They're going to cut back and they're going to get rid of people. And so this is what this is all about, and they want to make that part of the package.
And then the Republicans have a debate with Obama when there's not much real difference in the plan, so people think that's the only choices, instead of writing off the 1.5 quadrillion, getting back to Congress controlling the currency, slashing taxes across the board, raising interest rates. We'd be boomtown. I mean, the globalists admit in document for document, as you know, Bob, their problem is keeping economies slow, consolidating them. They're waging war against the engine of wealth that is liberty.
Absolutely, and you couldn't have put it any better. And so, for those of you who didn't know, that's what they're up to. And the debt extension is ex post facto. They're going to do that. But when they get what they want. And they may not get what they want because everybody in the Beltway knows what they're up to. And the fellows who are conservative to right-wing, you might call them Tea Party people, they're not going to put up with that. And the leftists are going to say, hey, wait a minute. You know, my constituency, 3/4 of the people are on Social Security and Medicare. You got to be kidding me. I can't vote for that. And so they're at loggerheads here, and this is what's holding everything up, and they're not going to tell you about it, certainly not the media, which they control. And that's what the game is all about. In fact, the interpretation of this is so widespread in differences. It's surprising. Right now, gold and silver are up as a reflection of there's not going to be a deal. And the gold and silver shares are down because the traders think in the shares that there is going to be a deal. And it just shows you how confused these people are.
Bob, what does it signify that in the middle of the summer, you've been in this business 50 years, but in the middle of the summer, that's very rare to have gold and silver spiking. I would guess, correct me if I'm wrong, it'll probably go up a little bit more, then go down a little, but then we're going to see $2,000. I mean, a couple years ago, you said $2,000 gold is easy in the next 2-3 years. People laughed at it. Now it's happened. You predicted with total precision 3-4 months ago. You said they're saying no QE3, baloney. They're already doing it quietly with monetization. And now he said, yes, we're going to probably do QE3. I mean, you really are the most on-target person that we interview. So where do you see gold going?
If you look at the base that was formed in silver, silver being the leader of the pack right now, you will see it tested 8 times the $32.50 to $36 level. Now, normally, and gold tested and held as well. Now, normally, if a cat tests 2 or 3 times, it's terrific. 4 times, unusual. 8 times, very seldom. And if you look back in history about the formations of support, you will find that is usually followed by an increase of 100 to 150% in gold and silver. So it's as simple as that. So $16 to $3,200 an ounce, and 35 and 35 or 70. And that's where they're going on the short term. And that's why, one of the reasons why we're having a spiking in gold and silver, unusual seasonally in the summer. Number 2, the other reasons are gold is real money, and people have realized it, and they are abandoning other currencies. The only exception is Swiss franc. They look at Europe, it's a dog's breakfast. They look at the United States, it's a disaster. Who would want to hold those currencies? And the rest of the world just follows. So you have gold replacing the dollar as the world reserve currency. It's been going on for 2.5, 3 years. Number 3 is inflation, 10.6%. That's the result of QE1 and Stimulus 1. Next year, we'll get the result of Stimulus 2 and QE2. That'll take us up to 25 or 30%. And if we get a good, strong QE3 of $2.3 trillion, which I think we will, then we're looking at 50%.
Well, what about with Cook numbers? They're claiming that growth is 1.8. When you add in real inflation, am I correct to say that's a negative economy growth of 8%, or is it 6?
Well, first of all, you can use inflation and back out of it. And by doing that, you're saying of that 1.8%, 1.8% was caused by inflation. So we got 0. But we just had about 1.8 trillion that we know of that was pumped into the economy by the Fed and by the legislature, $862 billion.
And let me correct that.
So if we hadn't had that, where would it be? It'd be minus 5%.
Okay.
So your point is well taken.
Yeah, and earlier today they were saying 1.8. Now the government's adjusted to 1.3. And, of course, they claim unemployment's at 10% or lower when mainline outfits say 22, 23%, California 30. Now, listen, here's the deal. Earlier, out of the gates, Al said, look, I'm a big fan, but I think the end of the world's basically coming, and this gold thing's dumb, and I think you ought to sell it. And I said, okay, come on air and say that. Because I know he's listening too, and he's not a bad guy. I want to explain this to people. Look, we said buy gold when it was 300, and it's 1,600 and something. We said buy silver when it was 5. It's 40 something. Listen, it's a law of economics throughout 6,000 years of recorded history that when governments hyperinflate, the currencies, commodities explode, namely gold and silver. So, again, they can manipulate things down in short term. They can always give gold or silver a haircut, but it always races back up. I wish that I could say, folks, dump your gold and silver because they're bringing back good monetary policy, because I'd rather have an economy and be in a good position. We're saying gold and silver because we're in a desperate situation and because it's been engineered, and it's not a panacea, but it's the best thing out there. If your ship's going under and you've just got some broken planks to get on, that's what you've got. It's not another ocean liner to jump on, but it's not perfect. And yeah, the government could try to come take it. The government, it's like saying don't have kids. The CPS might try to come take them. Don't sail across on the Mayflower. Your kids may die when they get to Plymouth Rock. Well, yeah, half of them did die. You know what? I'm a Texan. I'm an American. I'm a trailblazer. My ancestors were super hardcore, get it done people, and I'm a shadow of who they are growing up in this slob society. But let me tell you, I've still got the inklings of greatness in me, and so does everybody else listening. And so stop thinking it's all over. Stop talking about blowing your head off. Stop talking about giving up. It's exciting. We've become blubber creatures because we've had it too easy. This is part of the cycle. It's going to be fun. Make it fun. If they strike me down, it's fun. It's fun to be real. It's fun to have fire. It's fun to have it burning in your mind, the fires of liberty. Now I got to get to this ATF thing. We'll obviously go into overdrive, and Paul Watson's standing by, and so's Aaron, for me to give them the breakdown of this. And again, they're smart as I am, or smarter, but on this, they've asked me for a breakdown to do the article, so I'll give you the breakdown. But of why this is so huge with the ATF, okay? But I want to bring Ted Anderson up here. If you believe in what we're doing, you should buy gold and silver from Midas Resources. Plus, I happen to know it's Ted's silver deal. The brokers, who are great guys, all they're doing is taking calls for this deal, and Ted's actually losing money on it. $2 silver, a book that retails for $19.95, a film that retails for $9.95, a book, $2 silver, and free shipping for $85. That is losing money as a loss leader because Ted wants to get the word. I happen to know Ted behind the scenes is financing every type of libertarian organization, spending all his money, literally obsessed with these issues. We're true believers. Now, I wish you'd call up and buy the other gold and silver deals where Ted makes 3-4%, because, hey, that's the thing, is that we are free market people. And if you believe in what we're doing, buy my books, buy my videos, buy them all. But I'll tell you, with these deals Ted's offering, there is no profit. And quite frankly, the brokers are sick of taking half their phone calls for these deals where they can't actually try to make some money. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ted buys gold and silver when they manipulate it down, knowing it's going to race right back up. He's busy now having to buy it out into the future 6 months because it's so hard to get. And then he's competitive. Now the 5th biggest gold and silver broker in the U.S. from nowhere, 30 years ago, because he's competitive and he sells it to you when it's high at the old low price. That's how Ted makes his little profit. You add his 2, 3, 4, 5% of profit on it when the market's up. If he was buying it now, he'd be losing money. This is a tiny margin business, and it finances Genesis. It finances what we do. And quite frankly, he doesn't finance much these days because he didn't make that much money. Even though he's selling tens of millions of dollars of gold, he doesn't make a very big profit. So you need to give Ted Anderson a call at 800-686-2237, 800-686-2237. Tell him I want the radio specials. In fact, there's no point with Ted sitting there to even go to him now because I got to come back with the ATF news with Bob Chapman, and this is the big one. But the point is, I love it when I get attacked for promoting gold. We got a new employee in there that told me a few years ago he bought gold and silver, and that's the only reason he's afloat financially because it went up so much in price. I'm proud of pitching gold. I'm proud of the deals Midas Resources offers. I love it. We predicted everything. We told you the bailout was a robbery. We told you the economy would further implode. It's all designed. We have all their documents. They've done it over and over again in other countries. I'm watching these criminals do this stuff, and it never ceases to amaze me that when you're right about stuff, that's when you're bad. When you're wrong, that's when you're good. But with Bob Chapman, the main radio show is going to end in 5 minutes, but we're going into prisonplanet.tv and internet stream overdrive into the next hour with Bob, if you can do it. I haven't even asked him yet. I got so upset by this ATF news that I got before the show today. That I haven't even eaten today. And I've been up since 6 a.m. And I just got a splitting headache. I went, oh, I haven't eaten yet. I cut myself shaving, folks, and I don't even, cover it up when I go on TV. The point is that I am beyond all this side garbage. And the news I got is so lawless, so evil. Let me just ask Bob before I get to this news and get his take on it. Bob, can you stay 20 minutes the next hour?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I got you on late. Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. Let me just dig out this news item here, and I'm looking for my Associated Press article dealing with it. ATF to require gun buyer information on border. Oh, on the border. That sounds reasonable when you read the headline. No, this is from Texas all the way through to California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. No law. They're just ordering gun shops, if someone buys 2 or more guns, to report on them. Now, this was secretly going on a year ago, and we told people. Now and then in July, Obama announced, and these are the issues. In fact, I'm looking for my notes that I wrote on this. Here it is. This is so big I can hardly talk. And it just happens, and it's like it's no big deal for everybody. Outside of law, they make a secret rule last year and start ordering people to call the ATF. Folks, they're already doing an instant check. They already know how many guns they're buying. They already do a background check with the FBI when you're there. They check your driver's license, everything. It's already registration. Why then do they do this? Because it's about setting the precedent. To be able to have the ATF set the precedent and Congress do nothing. What did Obama say last year and this year? He said, don't worry to his base. I'm not going to do it through Congress. I'm going to do it, quote, by stealth. So watch and look that up. Obama to go after guns by stealth. That's all over the news. This is it. Now he's talking about an executive order to put you on a no-gun buy list. And he's going to do that in the next few weeks, reportedly. Where they just signs an executive order and says what Rahm Emanuel called 4 years ago, that we're going to put you on a no-gun buy list if we feel like it. No judge, no jury, no reason why you got on, can't find out why you got on. So this is the start of this. They're like, okay, we're going to order gun dealers to do something that's pointless, except that it makes them basically informants, indentured servants, like they're a crack dealer. And the cops say, we're not going to bust you, Bill or John or whatever your name is, but you have to start informing on people. So they're treating them like criminals. In this secret police thing, it's a secret police where they show up,